What's up, everybody? Welcome to NWA Nurses with Attitude. Leanne and I want to throw a quick shout out to the listeners. Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate your support episode after episode, and we hope you guys enjoy this content as much as we love making it. If you guys want, go check us out on our social, Nurses with Attitude on Instagram. That's where you'll find all the updates you need, and also shoot us a message if you want. Enjoy the episode, guys.
Hello.
Hello.
We're back.
What's up, Nurses with Attitude? Welcome to today's episode.
Hopefully Leanne has her shit together this week. Let's just forgive her for last week.
I would never bet too high that either of us have our shit together, though. Like, that's a pretty low bar.
I was listening to the episode last week that would have just come out, and the one called Hot Mess, and I was truly just all over the place. I mean, it's fine. We all have those days, but just
I think it took us a solid 20 minutes to get through this one point that Leanne had.
yeah, but the point was made.
That's
and we
okay.
moved on, and that's that.
And sometimes that's what it's like as a nurse. Like, you're trying all day to do one thing, and you just have so many other things pulling at you. You need to do med pass, treatments, whatever you got, you know what I mean, Dr. J or whatever it is. And you're trying to get this one thing done. And then by 3:25, you're like, okay, I got it done. And then you do report and then you get to go home. Or you know what? You might not even get it done.
Exactly. I was just going to say that. Maybe you don't even get to it.
But that's okay, guys. That's okay.
Well, for me, Joe, I think it's like adjusting to the routine of having a puppy in the house and like the time that we
mama.
like the time that we record now, thankfully he's having a nap and so he's not like yipping in the background. But let me tell you, like during the day when I'm on work calls or like my boss calls, he's like playing with his squeaker toys and I'm just like, oh fuck, I hope she doesn't say anything. Like, I'm sorry.
You should take like a maternity leave. Take a 9-month maternity leave. Just be like, yo.
Imagine.
Dogs are a lot though. Dogs are so much work. And cats are a lot of work. Don't get it wrong. But like I had got my kitten in August and he was born in May and he was fully trained, like fully good to go. Like we could leave him at home and he wouldn't get in too much trouble.
Cats are a lot more like self-sufficient, but this is and I've told my friends this and stuff, and I think I've mentioned this quite a lot lately, but I just want to mention like real quick that nobody talks about the work it takes raising a puppy.
Yeah.
And like everybody's just like, oh, having a dog is so great, blah, blah, blah. But like he's still being fed 4 times a day. He was rarely sleeping through the night the first 3 weeks we had him. Like,
really?
He would have to get up to pee. We'd have to get up to pee in the middle of the night. Because we only got him at 7.5 weeks. So like he can't hold his bladder that long. Like we go to bed at 10 and I wake up at 7. It's like 9 hours.
Does he have little pee pads that he pees on, or would you have to take him outside?
So this was the thing, Joe. The week that we got him, it was like minus 40 here. And so we actually had him trained to use pee pads just inside the back door. So the idea was that, now that it's nice out, he goes outside and he does. And he rings the bell. We have like a bell that hangs from the door and he'll go over and hit the bell to tell us that he needs to go outside. He's been a really, really good. Yeah. He's been a really good dog.
That's sweet. Okay, awesome.
But he's good. Like imagine a dog that's not good. And like the stress that the first week of having him, it was just like, this is going to sound nuts, but like my motherly instinct kicked in. Like I slept with one eye open for the week. It was like, I was afraid he was going to fall off the bed. Like I was just like worried about him. And like trying to focus on work.
Yeah.
It's definitely like a weird phenomenon, but anyhow, I'm not saying that like taking care of kids is easy, but like taking care of a puppy has to be somewhat similar.
What's wild is those families that do this trend where they get a puppy when they have their little 2-month-old baby and like they'll be best friends and grow together, and that's cute and all, but like imagine that. Like you were saying, you had to sleep with one eye open. If you had both of them, you'd be sleeping with 2 eyes open. You wouldn't be able to go to bed.
There's no way. I was thinking about that. I'm like, how do people do that. Like they have a baby and then, and the thing is, Joe is, you know, myself personally, I don't have a lot of patience other than, you know, when I'm at work, it's a bit different. But in my
Of course.
everyday
Of
life, I'm
course.
not someone who has a lot of patience. And I'm very self aware about that. And I'm trying to work on it. But we've never had a puppy. And so even growing up, we always sort of had maybe like a dog that was a bit older. Like we're talking 7 weeks old. And so he
Yeah.
still relies on us for so much and like so much direction. And you're constantly like, no, don't touch that, or like, don't eat
Yeah.
that, or whatever, you know? And then praising him. So every time he would go outside to pee, you know, we're like, yay! Doing like the whole thing, right? To show
Yeah.
him that that's good. And it's just, it's emotionally exhausting putting in that much um effort, I guess,
Effort and
when,
time. Yeah.
yeah, when no one really prepares you for that. Like it's just not something that people talk about, and I just need to put it out there into the universe that having a puppy is not easy.
They need puppy awareness. Yeah. And do you know what? Do you know what's really good about that though, Leanne? Is that's kind of touching on the dogs as a gift. You know, like they gift their kid a puppy at Christmas time.
Yeah.
But you
Not
know
a
what,
good
guys?
idea.
A lot of people, and I've seen it personally, where you like people get a puppy within 6 months, the puppy's gone, and then another Christmas comes, they get another damn dog, and it's like,
No.
Did you not learn your like lesson here? Like this isn't just some like thing that like this is it's a being. It's not a human being, but it is a being, right? Like it's a
Yeah.
dog. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of time. It's a lot of effort, and um, so that's a great PSA, Leanne. This should go all over PETA. You know, I know they would love that.
Sheesh. Just put it out there. It's just, you know, like I realize like I had an idea, but you don't really know until you're like in the thick of it. You know what I mean?
Of
But
course, of
it's been
course.
good, and we have a routine down now, and I think that's a part of it too. Joe is like establish blah blah blah. Fuck, I can't talk
Mm.
today. Establishing that routine, and you know, I think with anything, whether it's like, you know, a new puppy, a new baby, you know, floating to a random nursing floor, like whatever the case is, you move to a new home, you move to a new
Yep.
city, establishing a new routine is difficult and it takes time, but within the establishment time period, it's stressful because there's so many adjustments, you know? Um, are you someone that likes change?
Yeah, actually, I love
Yeah.
change, but I have a hard time sticking to like one thing. It's
Yeah.
I think I have ADHD because I'll like do something and then I'll be like, hey, like I'm on to the next. Like I want to do the
Yeah.
next thing, and I'm always thinking. So actually, I'm starting a new job next week, and that's my goal is to be like, okay, like just do this one thing. Because what I kind of did when I first started nursing, and you kind of saw it, is that my hands were like in every single pot. I was like working in
Yeah.
almost every single field of like nursing,
Mhm.
and I burnt myself out really quick doing that. So now I'm just trying to stay. I have my nurse research position, and I have my long term care position, and those are the only two positions I'm going to keep for the next little bit. So
Yeah. I think that's a good
nothing,
idea.
nothing new. Yeah. Well, like even with going to Nunavut, they're like, want to go to Nunavut? I'm like, hell yeah, I do. Like, didn't prepare for that. You know, I just jumped on a plane. I was like, let's get it. Like, let's go.
I know you've always been just like go go go, but
Yeah.
I could see like the ADHD. I don't know if you're like full blown. I think that you just have so much excitement though for new experiences. So
Hundred percent.
I don't know if you're like, you know, full blown diagnosis of ADHD, but I think that you just have the personality that's like gung ho for anything. And it's funny as
Yeah.
I'm like asking you, are you okay with change? In my mind, I'm like, duh, obviously. Like, if I know anything about Joe, it's that he like loves to travel, do nursing
Yeah.
travel. Like,
Like literally living in Saskatoon. Like,
you've moved like
like
5 times since I've known you. Like,
yeah, yeah. And you know, like regardless change though, like it is hard. And I feel like some people are
yeah.
more able to kind of like flow with water, where some
Hmm.
people need to be like very, very strict with it. And maybe I'm a little more like on that water side. That said though, like changing any like a new job is hard, a new place is always difficult, and you do have to hold your ground. Like it's just, and that's anything in life. If you're going through anything hard, you have to hold your ground. You have to stay steadfast, and things will get better eventually, you know?
Yeah, I agree. I'm also someone that thrives on change. Like I've always moved around a lot. Um, in terms of work, maybe not, but um, yeah, I thrive on change or like, I'm very spontaneous. And so like I
Yeah.
know a lot of people prefer to have like, maybe like meals planned or like their weekend plans planned, but like I'm not really like that. Like I decide the day of like what I'm doing. Um and I've kind of always been that way, but yeah, I guess like with a puppy it's tough because I'm used to like flying by the seat of my pants, for
Yeah. And
for
now you have to be like
just
very like tuned in all the time.
yeah, and it's good though, we obviously love him so much, but anyway, I just definitely a whirlwind the last couple of weeks.
Man, that is wild. Puppies, end of the story, guys. Like puppies are crazy. They're super cute and fluffy, but you need to really get your shit together to have a puppy.
Yeah, you got to be like mentally prepared.
I can only imagine what it's like having a kid. Maybe in the next like few years we'll do an episode on
Dang.
how hard it is to have a kid.
I'm sure I mean, not for a while for me, but maybe for you and Jay.
I have no idea. I still feel like a child.
I know, me too, man. I feel like I'm like, dang, I gotta take care of this dog. Like, I don't even know if I brushed my teeth today. Like,
Like, straight up, straight up,
yeah. All jokes
straight up
aside.
and stuff.
Oh gosh. Okay, there was something you wanted to talk about today, and I'm very interested in hearing about this
Okay.
because I haven't heard
Yes.
about this, so I have no prior knowledge, but I definitely have some thoughts based on like what you texted me briefly. But
So
lay it
this
out.
goes way back. Like this goes way back, and like this isn't like it's kind of like I want to start a movement here, guys, and we need to take this seriously because
Feels very passionate.
as Canadians, I feel like we're just sitting back and watching this happen right in front of us. And I feel like, and I've spoken with people about this topic, and they're on the same boat. And we need to step the fuck up because it's ridiculous. So, back in like 2014, you might not know this. Tim Hortons is not Canadian anymore. In 2014 or around that
What?
time, the franchise was sold to Americans. Okay,
You're lying. You're lying.
hand on my heart, I swear to God,
Did
hand
you
on my
look
heart,
this up?
Leanne.
I'm
This is
Googling it
this is
as we're
public knowledge. Yeah, look it up. Look it up. Is Tim Hortons owned by Canadian or American? It's owned by Americans. And at every Tim Hortons that I go to, I ask them, I'm like, can I speak to your manager? And I ask them, I'm
why?
like, because I care.
Oh my gosh, you're so
So
funny. I don't
so
even like
listen
Tim
here.
Hortons that much.
So that's a great right there. Tim Hortons coffee back in the day, back in their
Yeah, yeah,
heyday,
yeah.
their coffee was the best. Come on, like we all were there. You know, Tim Hortons did some baller coffee. When the Americans took over, they were like, you know what? We don't want to. You're spending too much on your coffee. We're gonna switch. They switched to this shitty American coffee. McDonald's came in and stole Tim Hortons' original recipe.
Fuck
That's
yeah.
why so
I
many people
love
love McDonald's
McDonald's.
coffee. Boom! There it is. It's because they stole. Well, they didn't really steal it. Whenever Tim Hortons dropped their blend,
Yeah, yeah.
McDonald's came and picked it up.
I
Okay.
remember this because I worked at McDonald's when the transition happened.
Boom. Right there. So this is key knowledge to know for what I'm going to be bringing up. Okay. So Tim Hortons, they also made a bunch of changes. They increased their prices, all this stuff. It's because the Americans took over. Now, over the pandemic, there's been a lot of issues. And one of the issues is that if you're Canadian, you know this, roll up the rim to win.
Oh,
You
yes.
roll up the rim and you win. But nowadays, my biggest beef with it is that they got an app and you don't roll up a rim anymore. You slide up on your screen. That's what you got to do. Okay. And that's bullshit. That is straight BS, and that is
Okay.
one of the most upsetting things that has ever happened in my life. Like us Canadians, we know the seasons between November and March. You roll up the rim to get a one in probably like a zillion chance to win a car or like $10,000. But the best part of it is you usually get like free muffins and like free cookies and stuff like that. But now, if you're not enrolled in the Tim Hortons app,
Yeah.
You don't get the and I'm not downloading the Tim Hortons app. Y'all think I'm crazy? Like, absolutely not. Like, I want my roll up the rim on the fucking rim. Like, that's what it's called. And all Canadians know this. And it's kind of like the little light in our lives during the winter when, like, we lose the sunlight. And, like, when, we're only getting, like, 5-6 hours of sun a day. And it's super cold and it's miserable outside. But you know what? I'm going to go get my roll up the rim to win. And they took
Listen.
that away from us. They robbed us.
All right. Let me just play devil's advocate here. Okay.
Oh, don't come at me, Leanne.
I'm coming at you. Listen. I have several points to make. First of all,
Okay.
I agree with you. The physical rolling up of the rim when they transitioned from that, it was disheartening. It was like they took away a piece of Canadian history. Okay. This is like, I don't know if there's anybody who even listens to this that's outside of Canada, but that is so well known here. As you think of Tim Hortons, you think of roll up the rim, you think of coffee, donuts. Like that's our heritage, okay, for lack of a better word. Now, Joe, how do you feel about people rolling up the rim with their mouth and then handing that piece of rim of the cup to an employee? How would you feel as an employee during a pandemic?
And
honestly,
that's a good point. Like, hey, that makes sense ish. But who cares? Like, it's roll
You're
up the rim.
so bitter.
It's roll up the rim. And see, that's the point that I'm like, hey, like that makes sense. But they should have like like they should have like a little bucket then that you can throw your thing in and then you can just look at it. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
they could do it so it's still touched. Like
Yeah.
you don't have to touch it.
Yeah. I
But that
think
is a good point. I do
Yeah.
agree with that.
I do agree with the whole bucket thing. Like, I think there's definitely ways around it. But that being said, Joe, like, also McDonald's has taken away their free coffee stamps off the side of their cups now, and it's also on the app. And
Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh,
And
that's
I was like
upsetting.
a huge stamp collector. Like, my mom would keep these stamps for me, and like I'd get all these free coffees. It was awesome. Because obviously I like McDonald's coffee now better than Tim Hortons because, as Joe just explained, they've done this transition.
Yep.
And Joe, honestly, like in terms of the way the world is progressing, in terms of like the use of social media and the internet and electronics, like I can see from a
Technology.
business standpoint why they moved to the more technological approach. So in terms of using an app, like that's very
And isn't that scary though? Because I'm
2020s,
like call me like old school, but I would like that if we kept a part of like of history because everything is going everything is turning into technology nowadays. And
Yeah.
it'd be nice. So I didn't know about the McDonald's, but yeah, like those are awesome too. Like you get to collect them.
Yeah.
And in terms of like IPAC and like infection control, I don't think there's a lot of risk there with those because your mouth shouldn't be touching it. Like it is better for the environment, I guess, but
Yeah.
like
I don't know. Like I said, the technology and like business standpoint, I definitely see where they're going, but I'd be curious to know, Joe, like what the number of roll up the rim users was back in 2010 and what they are in 2020.
yes.
Because I know for a fact when you walked into any Tim Hortons, and I would put my whole life savings on this statement. If you walked into any Tim Hortons in Canada at 11 a.m., you're going to see a group of seniors sitting there,
Yeah.
chilling, having their muffin and a coffee. Okay. Any Tim Hortons.
And
Now,
if you're in a small town for some reason, you'll see like a group of bikers. When I go into small towns, it's like a group of like these big biker dudes just chilling, having their coffee.
That's what my dad does. Is they'll go and meet up at a Harley dealership or a Tim Hortons in a different city, or like it's just a meeting point. Like it's a common ground that people are aware of. And do you think these seniors sitting at a Tim Hortons at 11 a.m. have a cell phone and are using the app to do roll up the rim? No, get out of here. Absolutely
Boom.
not.
Boom. And honestly, these people are loyal to Tim Hortons. Why can't Tim Hortons be loyal to them? You know what I'm saying? Like they're screwing everyone over. And
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I have whenever they did that, I went to Tim Hortons and I was like, "Where's my roll up the rim?" They're like, "Well, you need the app." I haven't got a drink like that was 2 years ago, Leanne.
I
Like
don't
I have no respect for Tim Hortons anymore.
I don't really like Tim Hortons all that much. Like I'll get a French vanilla or a tea or something, but I mean, don't get me wrong, I'll get a donut, but
Yeah.
in terms of their coffee, it's not my favorite. I would take McDonald's 9 times out of 10 over
And
Tim's.
boom, they screwed up so hard because that was their blend. Like they've
Yeah.
been making bad choices. And so another part of this kind of tangent is in June of 2022, so about 6 months ago, there was this other scandal because there was there was a privacy breach on their app and people got hacked who were using their app.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So there was this huge lawsuit against them. Now, just recently in 2023, there's another lawsuit against Tim Hortons because multiple people were winning a $10,000 prize on their fake roll up the rim on the screen. I don't like it's not roll up the rim. I don't know what to call it. Like whatever they do on the phone to roll up the fake rim, they won $10,000. A bunch of people, and then Tim Hortons was like, "Well, no, you didn't. Like it was fake. Like it was an accident." So now there's another lawsuit against Tim Hortons for that.
Oof. People just love to sue nowadays for anything, eh?
I
Like
think that's a
it's a
pretty
little out of
silly
hand.
thing. Like
Yeah.
that's a pretty silly thing to set a lawsuit on. Like they owe me
Yeah.
$10,000 because I think that's pretty stupid. But I think the reality of it is that Tim Hortons is a mess, and as a Canadian, I'm not proud of Tim Hortons anymore.
Ooh, bold statement.
Man, but you know what? There's
Bold
all this
statement.
chaos in the world. And to me, this is an important issue that no one's talking about. Someone mentioned it to me the other day, and I almost got a tear to my eye because I was like, "There's someone else out here who cares. I'm not
I
alone." You know what I mean?
I definitely agree. Like I miss the whole physical rolling and like the surprise. Like it's not the same in the app. It's not. But and I could see from the business standpoint why they used during COVID to transition. Like it was strictly marketing and
Oh, for sure.
positioning based on like global events where they kind of were like, oh, like we're moving to an app, you know.
And
Good timing on their part,
it
but
does benefit them for
yeah.
sure. You know, I see that, but Tim Hortons used to be a place that it was a benefit to people, and it's just it's not there anymore. You know,
I guess I didn't know you
they
were so
so
passionate.
well even at this they also stopped sponsoring men's hockey in the last year.
No.
Yeah, like I'm at a loss for words.
What about Timbits? Do they still like sponsor the
Did they?
Timbits soccer?
Oh, the Timbits do they still sponsor their own product? I'm like, I think
Oh,
so.
sorry,
Like
yeah, I guess
Timbits.
that wasn't clear.
I have no idea, but you know, back in my day too, like Tim Hortons camps were a huge thing,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
and I haven't really seen those around. I haven't seen a Timbits hockey or Timbits soccer in a while either.
Well, I think they still do the camp day. Like I know that um I don't know when it is, maybe August, July or August. They do like a camp day where if you buy a coffee or a donut or whatever, a portion of those proceeds go towards helping send kids to camp, but I don't think it's quite as advertised now. Would you
Yeah,
agree?
I have no because I just maybe this is because I was a kid, but I remember when I was a kid, it was a huge deal. Like it was in all the commercials. You would see like signs on the side
Yeah.
of the road of like Tim Hortons, but I haven't seen that in a while.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
I
I
don't
don't think it's as big of a deal for sure.
well, maybe they're advertising in their app.
Oh, that's why I haven't seen it. Man, at the end of the day, it's these little things, and especially I would like to relate it to nurses. You're working a 12-hour shift, 6 hours in, you go to get a coffee, you get your coffee, you roll up the rim, and boom, you get a free donut. It's
Yeah.
just those very little things in life that I
Yeah.
think add a lot of joy. And you know, in the middle of the pandemic, I could see why. Like that point that you made, the cup to the mouth and then you're handing it to someone else. I totally see it. But like in the middle
Mhm.
of the pandemic, they took away that little joy, you know? And at the same time, you could say that they did actually counteract it with the app, you know? But I'm just an old man. I like things to stay the same,
Yeah, no, I agree. I definitely think there's like nostalgia to it. Like
right?
it'll never quite be the same.
Yeah.
I just can't imagine, Joe. Imagine being an employee at Tim Hortons. And, things have just opened up after COVID. I'm talking about Ontario because this is where I was at the time. Imagine the crusty ass seniors that would be coming in there pissed off that they don't do roll up the rim anymore. Like those poor employees probably got an earful.
The crusty ass seniors plus Joe.
Yeah.
Just giving them hell.
Just like in there, like those poor staff. Like it wasn't their call,
For
obviously,
sure.
but
And
they're just
you
the
know what?
messenger, right?
I will say this podcast does not support treating any fast food worker like that, regardless of how
Of
you feel
course
about
not.
their company,
Yeah, of
because these
course not.
people are just as much victims as we are.
Yeah, I just this really like cuts deep to you, eh? The Tim
You know
Hortons
what?
thing.
I'm probably being a little exaggerative right now, but it is something that honestly, like,
It's
I was
sad.
I was a little irked, and I was like, yeah, it's like it sucks because it's like an end of an era, and I
Yeah.
think that's what I want to keep going. Like, I would always go and get French vanillas every year when Roll Up the Rim would be on, because I don't know, it's fun to win something, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's a cool little thing, and I could get the app. That's a huge thing that I could do, but absolutely not, because
Nah,
I'm just I'm not an app kind of guy. I don't even have the McDonald's app. Do you have the McDonald's app?
no. And I
Yeah, I don't
probably
eat
eat at
McDonald's enough.
McDonald's like once a week.
Oh, do you? So is McDonald's your
Yeah.
fast food choice? Like, is that
Yeah.
your like
It's like our
oh
go-to.
your
Well,
go-to? Do you guys like
we
Wendy's?
yeah. Yeah, we love it all, honestly. Like we eat equally. But the thing is, Joe, is I go there for coffee, right?
Their coffee is baller. McDonald's coffee is
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah, my fave for sure.
It's
Or
not
like
like
if I
a fancy coffee, but it's a good, like, just kind of like coffee, like basic coffee.
yeah, I like to when I go do groceries and I hit up Walmart, I like to grab a coffee from McDonald's and then go do my groceries or
Oh,
shopping
that's
or whatever.
amazing.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I like that. Do you go to Walmart for your main shopper, like shopping, or are you a Costco gal? Are you men
No.
Costco people? No,
No,
you're
we
not.
don't have a Costco card. We're only two people and Ben and I okay, listen. You're going to be like, "What the fuck?" Ben and I, so a pack of chicken, okay? Let's say $20 for 6 chicken breasts, let's just say.
It's getting
Ben and I
expensive now.
Ben and I actually cut a chicken breast in half, like horizontally, and that's one meal for us. Like one chicken
Really?
breast feeds both of us a meal. Yeah.
I had drumsticks yesterday, and I probably had like 8 of them.
I like drumsticks, but Ben doesn't. But
Damn.
so to have a Costco card, like sure we could fill our freezer, but if I did a Costco run and spent like $500 on freezer food, it would literally last us a year.
But
Like
that wouldn't, you know what,
literally a year.
Costco does have the best price on meat and like chicken. They actually sell it at a loss. Like, they lose money on their chicken.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you get some really good prices on their chicken.
But the thing is like am I saving enough to get a membership to go once a year? Like probably
Uh,
not. you know.
That's the thing. Yeah, like me and Jelena, we're executive members, but we go to Costco for pretty much everything. Like, if we need a
Oh,
laptop,
yo, I
like
hate
we
Costco.
we, we go to Costco. I love Costco,
No,
and
okay.
they
Let
started
me
bringing back like the samples too, Leanne. And there was a sample. Oh my gosh! Literally, oh my god! So there's this product called Oh My God, and I was like, that's a weird name for it. And I took a bite of it. It was like these chocolate clusters, and the first word out of my mouth was "Oh my God!" Like, those are freaking delicious.
Some good marketing.
Yeah, right. They're
Let me
really good.
rephrase that. I don't hate Costco. I hate the parking. I hate the people in the parking lot. I hate everything about the outside of Costco. Love everything about the inside. Love the hot dogs, love the clothes, love the samples. Love it. Hate the outside, hate getting there, hate that it's out of my
Yeah,
way. Yeah, awful.
And in hubs, like I can imagine Calgary, it's probably because in Ottawa it was a mess. Ottawa Costco, it was a
Oh,
mess. Like
rough.
the parking lots were a mess. It's not that bad here in Saskatoon, but we also don't have a lot of people. It still gets pretty busy
Yeah.
sometimes, you know? So I totally get that. And honestly, there's some people in Costco, like, because it gets so busy. So I don't blame people who do this at the same time. Like, you should always like kind of be nice, but some people just like barge. Like they're
Oh,
going and like they're on a mission. Like if you get in your
yeah.
way, you're getting ran over.
Yeah.
Like you will die at Costco if you're not careful. You got to
Yeah.
beware.
I Ben and I have like toyed with the idea of getting a Costco card, and I'm sure we will eventually, but in terms of like buying groceries and stuff, like doesn't really make sense for us. Like we do the bulk of our grocery at Walmart, and then
Yeah.
we go to Sobeys or Superstore for anything that's like specific that we want, you know?
Yeah.
Um one thing that's really hard to find here, Joe, is cheese curds. What about in Saskatoon? What's it like there? Do you guys have cheese curds?
I saw cheese curds the other day, but I
Yeah, but they're
haven't there it's not like Ottawa. Like in
no, no,
Ottawa, when
no.
you go to like a
Yeah,
Sobeys or something, there's
you'll
always a
never have
stand
this the
full
St.
of cheese curds.
Albert's. Yeah.
Oh, those are the best.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot do cheese curds if they're not St. Albert's because those are literally the best.
I know Ben and I have tried like every version of cheese curd here, and some of them are not bad. Like they have that squeak to them, but yo, man, every time we've gone to Ontario and flown back, I bring back like a big ass bag of cheese curds with me.
You know, I love cheese curds, but I never noticed. Like now that you're saying it, I'm like, yeah, like in Ontario, it was a thing.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. Because the Saint I'm gonna totally butcher this, but the St. Albert's cheese curd like factory is actually out in St. Albert, like Enbrin area, like outskirts Ottawa area.
Oh, really? Like in Embrim? I did not know that.
Yeah, well, it's in St. Albert,
Where's St. I've never heard of St.
which
Albert.
I'm pretty sure is outskirts of like Enbrin, Russell, out that way.
Okay. No, I just know St.
I
Albert
think.
in Alberta. Like there's a St. Albert in Alberta.
Oh, no, no, no. This is Ontario.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. So,
Yeah,
anyways.
there's certain things in the prairies. So me and Leanne are prairie people now, and there's certain things that are just different from out east in Ontario.
Yeah, for
You know?
sure. I I know when I first moved here, I could like pinpoint a lot of different things, but now that I've been here for so long, like I'm just kind of used to life here and I'm not really sure what's different. I know like the weather here is very different. It's not humid. You don't
It
get
gets
that like
cold.
stickiness, but it gets really cold in the winter, but it only lasts like a week.
You
And then it
know,
warms up.
that's in Calgary. In Saskatoon, it's constantly just freaking freezing all the time.
Oh, that sucks.
You don't get meant like now it's starting to warm up. Like it was minus like 11 today, so it was like it's and that's warm.
Hey,
Like
that's
like
not
that's
bad.
warm for us. Yeah. But like during like the height of the winter, like it was on average it was like minus 20, minus 25, and then we
Yeah.
would get like a few weeks, even like a month of like minus 40.
Yeah, it's -1 here today.
Oh, that's not bad. Oh, that's
Um,
probably so nice.
I also read a thing. I'm just Googling it here. If you Google sunniest city in Canada,
Edmonton, I
Calgary,
think.
Alberta comes up.
Oh, is it?
Calgary, Alberta.
I know
So it says,
Alberta's known for their sunniness.
yeah, 333 days of sunshine each year. So out of a year, we have about, what's that? 32 days. That's 31 days. That's not sunny. It's wild. It's so sunny
That's
today.
crazy. And you know,
Yeah.
that makes me upset because I went to Calgary for a weekend last year and it was cloudy the whole weekend. So like I
Oh,
just
man. That's one thing about the weather here. Like every time I talk to my mom, she's like, "Oh, it's so like it's so dreary here, you know?" And every
Yeah.
time she's out here, she's like, "I can't believe how blue the sky is." And I'm like, "Yeah, it's I don't know, it's different here. I can't quite put my thumb on it, but I don't know, the environment like feels different. I don't know. Do you agree
I
about Alberta?
100%. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, Alberta, especially Calgary is a really good vibe.
Yeah.
Calgary's a really, really nice place. Edmonton's pretty nice. Like Alberta in general, it's a pretty good vibe. Edmonton, because it's like a capital of Alberta.
I literally hate Edmonton with every
Yeah,
fiber in my body.
and that's because it's a capital. Like because you get the business people, and you kind of get that busyness. Where Calgary, and a lot of people who go to Calgary are also visiting because Calgary is known to be like kind of a party city, and like you guys have the Calgary Stampede.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to Comic Con again this year in Calgary, Leanne,
Oh
and they
yeah.
have a stacked lineup. They have a stacked lineup for the guests coming this year.
Oh sweet. When is it? July?
No, it's in
When did you
April
go?
and end of April.
Oh, okay, sweet. You'll have to let us know
Yeah,
when you're down.
we will definitely come see you actually
Yeah.
and
We
see
can
that new place. Oh my
meet our
god, and the puppy,
puppy.
Mr. Bodie.
Yeah. Oh gosh. I
So
I'm like quite surprised about how butthurt you are about this whole Tim Hortons thing. I didn't even take you as someone who even drank Tim Hortons. I don't think I've ever seen you have a Tim Hortons.
no, I don't. I really only during the roll up the rim season I'll make it a point like to
Yeah.
go get a roll up the rim, but I don't know. I think it just comes down to like things are changing, you
Yeah.
know? And I'm
Joe
not
just
about it.
doesn't like, yeah, you're just not about it. You just don't like the
I
change.
will I will move across the country 3 times in like a heartbeat and like take a job in the middle of nowhere. But like you take away my roll up the rim, like I'm not adjusting well.
That's
I
so
was
funny.
I was that kid in school. Now tell me if you were like this too. I feel like a lot of kids are like this. They told me that in like a billion years, like the sun's gonna blow up. And I remember being so upset, Leanne, like little
Why?
Joe, because the sun was gonna blow up. And I couldn't comprehend what a billion years was. So I was like really upset. I was like, are you kidding me? I was like, really?
Oh,
Like, I'm like, is no one else talking about this? Like I was freaking out.
I don't think
It was
I
upsetting.
ever. I've always been someone who never pays too much attention about space and all that. Like the thought that I put so much stress on my daily life bullshit, and I can still see the light from a star that has exploded in the sky, but because light takes so long to travel to my eyeballs, I can still see the light from this fucking star that has blown up a trillion years ago, let's just say.
Yeah, it's gone.
But my issues are huge. Like, come on, you
Yes,
know?
that's such a good point. We
The
are like
thought of
this
it,
little speck
yeah, right. This is
in
it.
this
And
huge
like
world.
the the more I think about it, it just kind of like freaks me out. So I've never been someone who like really cares or takes an interest into space and that kind of thing. Ben's into all that and he's really knowledgeable, but it freaks me out. I just want to live in my own little world and I don't want to think about it. So if
So
someone was like, the
is
sun's gonna blow up, I'd be like, hide your kids, hide your wife.
ain't nobody got time for that.
Oh,
So
I don't
it
know.
like is it just the vastness of it? Like you're like it's so overwhelmingly
Yeah.
vast that you're like I ain't got time for that. Like
Yeah, it just makes me feel insignificant. Makes me feel small. And it's
hmm.
like, why do I work so hard
I think
to
that's a good
achieve
question to
so
ask yourself
much?
though.
I know.
It's not it like
When
sorry you feel I'm like cutting Leanne off every second word that she's saying here. I'm gonna let you finish your sentence.
no, it's fine. I just like it's just overwhelming to think about.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh,
Don't you
for real.
agree? It's like we're stressing about what to make for dinner tonight, yet like I don't know, the earth could implode at any fucking second. Like I don't know.
Sometimes when I start getting overwhelmed, I just sit back and think about that, and it puts things in perspective. Of like, sometimes you just need to be like, or like, I need to be more like chill. You know what I mean? And sometimes that just helps me chill out a bit.
Yeah.
Just think about how vast like this world is, and like, not trying to get like too like hipstery on you, but if you think about it, everything around us is like their social norms, meaning that they're like constructed by man or like
Yeah.
constructed by woman too. Like everything around us, like the way like that our politics works and like society, like it's all constructed. Like none of this was there like back in the Big Bang. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
when dinosaurs were just chilling and living, and like the reason why we made it so far in this world is because we lived off this world. We got nutrients from the sun, and You know, so now a lot of the things that we do, like I would say it's normal that you work a 9 to 5 and then you go home to your kids and like whatever. All that is like man-made. So is it normal? Is it normal to get stressed about those things? I don't know. I'm not here to provide the answers, but just some food for thought.
I think, like you say, it's normal because we've adapted to that way of life.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Anyhow,
Man, this is from Tim Hortons to like the vastness of the universe,
I know.
social construction. Man, this is what happens when we don't plan anything.
I know. I kind of like these episodes, though.
Yeah, our minds are crazy. Like we just go everywhere.
Yeah.
I wonder if other people are like that. They must be.
Oh yeah, for sure.
They must
Definitely.
be.
I listen to like any other podcast, and they're just carrying on conversation that's about random shit, like from one thing to another.
Just bouncing.
Also, which reminds me, YouTube, good to go, guys.
Yeah.
It's live.
We're live on YouTube.
I'm working on uploading like all of our past recorded episodes. I think I've uploaded 7 of them so far. So this will be recording 25, I think, Joe. So I've got some catching up to do, but slowly but surely we'll have like, an up-to-date episode as I can, catch up. But I wanted to have all of the episodes there. Like, I don't want to just jump to episode 25, I think that honestly, share a lot of good tips. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's great. When you started uploading them, I almost messaged you and was like, maybe just start at the new ones. But I think it's good that you're uploading them all. So then they'll just always be there.
Well, yeah. And I think we share a lot of information and tips and random takeaways from episodes. Like, I mean, not all of them, but we talk more about the nursing side of things. Like, there's some interesting things that people can take away. And it would be nice to have like a wholesome roundup of all of our episodes,
Yeah. Oh, I think that's awesome.
So anyways, guys, you can find us on YouTube at Nurses with oh my gosh.
With Attitude.
Oh my gosh. At Nurses with Attitude podcast. We do have the same graphic on YouTube up as we do on Spotify. And that will sort of just play right now through the whole episode until Joe and I can sort of, launch into the recording of our physical selves while we record it.
Which is going to happen.
It'll happen. And it's just tough with a puppy right now. And, we'll get there. We'll get there. It's coming.
Leanne, we should record it, but instead of having your face, you should just sit your puppy in front of the camera as we're talking.
The problem is, Joe, is like I thought about having him on my lap, but the thing is he's so snorty and like snotty that he would just be like snorting the whole time. Oh.
I'm okay with that. I'm down to your dog snorts.
Listen, he's pretty stinking cute, so I should post a picture of him on our podcast. Instagram.
Definitely. I think all the nurses would. Nurses love dogs. Do you never have like sometimes when you work on the unit, a nurse or like a doctor or someone working there has an animal and they bring it every like once a week? And I love those days. Those are my favorite days.
Yeah.
They probably care less about the person themselves, but they bring their animal in and I'm like, oh my God, we're best friends.
Yeah, the seniors love animals too.
Yes. Actually, the home that I'm going to work at, Leanne, they have like cats just walking around. Like they have cats who live at the homes. Yeah. The cats just like walk around and they have an aviary, which is like for birds. So they have like a big and like a huge one, not like a bird cage. Like it's like a whole, it's like you're at the zoo pretty much.
Who scoops the cat poop?
I don't know. I haven't gotten my orientation yet. Yeah, I haven't gotten my orientation yet, but I'm sure that's going to be.
I bet you do.
I scoop my cat poop at home, so I might as well do it at work.
I mean, it's not the end of the world.
Oh, it's not a big deal.
If it brings the residents joy, it's worth it,
And honestly, guys, like cats are so easy to take care of. Like the poop, like literally, like I do my cat litter, like because we live in an apartment, so I do it twice a day, and it keeps like all the smell out and like everything, But
twice a day, dang, dude.
Twice a day, we scoop their litter. And then when we lived at a bigger place, when their litter was in the basement, we did it once a day.
Yeah.
But honestly, Leanne, it takes not even a minute.
But you guys have 2 cats, right?
We have 3 cats.
Okay, yeah. See, I have 1 and I do it every 2 days.
Oh yeah, and I bet the litter's like in the basement or something, eh?
So a funny story actually. When we moved into this house, Joe, there's a cutout in one of the closet doors down the hallway towards our laundry for a cat litter. Like there's someone literally cut a hole out in the door
Just
so
for
that
the
their
litter.
cat could go through and use the litter. So obviously that's where we put the litter box, and
It was
it
meant to
doesn't
be.
smell or anything. But I find that Looney Tunes, her urine doesn't smell.
Hmm.
There's
What
no like ammonia smell.
is there a specific kind of like litter that you guys buy?
Just Arm & Hammer, like
Just
whatever's
Arm
at
& Hammer,
Walmart. Yeah, nothing fancy.
We get the stuff at Walmart too, but we've tried
Yeah.
a few different brands because some of them suck and some of them I find make the smell like way worse, and some of them are really good at like mitigating
Yeah, I find
the
that
smell.
Loon doesn't have she doesn't have that ammonia smell to her
Hmm.
urine. And apparently that ammonia smell is due to poor kidney function because I was looking it up. And so I don't know, like we feed her pretty good food and stuff, but like other than that, I don't ever
Hmm.
smell anything, or like when I go to scoop it, it doesn't smell. Like it's just
Yeah.
nothing, you know?
Oh, well, that's good.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, I think we've really gone around the sun today in 45 minutes.
Yeah, 100%.
Everything from Tim Hortons to change to cat litter. It's quite the
To
roundup of
literally
topics
everything.
today.
Today was the episode.
I mean,
We don't have to do anything else. We don't have to do any more episodes. Like we covered
is it.
everything.
That's it. We're done. Mic drop.
It's over.
All right,
Okay,
guys.
thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it.
As always, don't forget to like and share our podcast. Find us on Spotify, Nurses with Attitude. Find us on YouTube, Nurses with Attitude Podcast. Follow us on Instagram. Look at us. We're just building a little community here.
Hell yeah, we are, and y'all better check it out.
All right, guys. We'll chat with you next week.
Peace.